Hello, good afternoon. Hopefully you can hear me okay. It's the afternoon here, it's just gone 4 o'clock. Over in the United States, it is either about 8 o'clock in the morning or 11 o'clock, depending on which side you're on. And we are just entering the spring. So this is actually the first weekend that we've had some of our restrictions lifted from lockdown that we've been in since the beginning of January. So if you can hear some noises, my lovely neighbours are having a barbecue with their friends. It's so nice to hear people sitting and enjoying themselves and, just kind of doing normal stuff. So if you can hear some laughing and jocularity, then that's what's going on. So I haven't got any music this time because I thought we'd just leave it kind of simple. I'm trying to do these live stream draw with me sessions on the first Saturday of every month. So previously in January and February I had to have it a little bit earlier because the daylight was a bit of an issue in my studio, which is where I'm coming from today. And last month I had to miss it because I've had some health issues, which has been a bit of a pain, but hopefully I'm now on the right trajectory to feeling a bit better. So I'm going to do one today, and then hopefully for the rest of the year it's going to be the first Saturday of every month, and I'll try and make it a little bit later, between sort of 4 and 6 o'clock BST, so that if you're in the States or Canada, which a lot of my friends and people that watch me on YouTube are, then it's a bit better for you guys. So let's keep it like that if we can. I was thinking about what we could do today, and I thought that maybe because we've got springtime coming up now, and I'd sort of done some flowers and stuff last time, and I've done some rabbits and hares recently. I was thinking about what else comes out at this time of year. And I'm in an algorithm on YouTube where I see a lot of things from Canada. So I'm watching a lot of people doing wild camping, and a lot of people in Toronto as well. So it kind of gave me a bit of an interest in what other things there were going to be emerging in that neck of the woods. And I thought of brown bears, because we don't, in the UK, bit of a disclaimer here, we don't have any brown bears unless you are counting these little ones. And this is my brown bear, but as you can see, he's not that scary, but he'll do for today. So I was thinking about the fact that they have been hibernating all winter and they're just beginning to come out and smell the air and stuff. So I have got a little drawing that I've done, I'll show you in a sec, a sketch, and then I've copied it onto watercolour paper, and from there I'm going to colour it and show you the pens and the things that I'm using, and so that you can do the same thing too. So I'm just going to say a quick hello to people. Hi guys, it's really nice to see you all here. Manga's Demonoid, hi. Mira, hello. Niyati and Davni, hi. Thank you so much for saying hello. It's really nice I can see how many people are actually watching, but it's really nice to get a little bit of feedback from you guys as well, to say hello and where you're coming from as well, because that would be really interesting. So what I'm going to do now is switch over to my phone. So I'm going to be drawing over here. This is my other table. And I'm going to be drawing over there, and I'll switch over to my phone camera and see what we're going to do. Okay, so there is the sketch of the little brown bear emerging from his winter hibernation. And I thought it'd be nice to have a bit of snow down the bottom here, and there's a little robin or a bird of some description, and then some colourful trees and a bit of background. So I've got a couple of these pens. These are Sakura Pigma pens. They're Japanese, and the one I'm going to be using mostly actually is the FB, which is the fine brush. They are brush pens, but I like these because they've got quite a firm brush to them, and also they're good for if you're using watercolours. So first thing I'm going to do, that's the sketch, and this is, I've just very, very lightly in pencil drawn that in. So what I'm going to do now is just do the outlines. Mostly I think what I'm going to do is coloured pencil, watercolour pencil, and then with some watercolour over the top of it. Mainly because it's just a bit quicker than, because I probably need to use a hairdryer to dry off in between layers, and I don't want to do that this afternoon, so I'll skip a few sort of steps by using the watercolour pencils and then blending with some water. You'll see what I mean when I get to it. There's his belly. This is his front leg, the back of his front leg, because if you think about it, he's been hibernating all winter, so he's feeling a bit scruffy at the moment, which is why he's got all this fur. There we go. That's a bit better, isn't it? Hello Sharon, nice to see you. And I'm going to move on to the tree. I am going to sort myself out with my camera that I use. I haven't got the right lead at the moment to attach it to my my computer, because the shop that I need to buy it from has been shut because of lockdown. And you know, it's unfortunate, but I just got to, you know, we've all got to live with things at the moment, haven't we? And I have tried ordering things from Amazon or online, and I've ordered about 3 different leads, and none of them are right. So I actually want to go and speak to an actual human being before parting with any other cash. At least that's the idea. So when I have my proper camera set up, all of this will be a lot easier, and also the quality will be better. So this is the cave that he's just emerged from. And then this is going to be snow, so I'm not actually going to do anything there, because we'll do that with the watercolour. And I'm also going to leave doing the branches up here until a little bit later as well. But what I can do now is these, over here we've got some silver birch trees, and I love drawing. I think I've probably mentioned it at least once before, if not several times before, that I really love drawing them because they have such beautiful bark and are a pleasure to draw. So there we go. So those bits, and then also we need a little bit of horizon, like that. Okay, I think I might be ready for a bit of colour, and then I'm going to go back in with the pen again at a later date. So I think I'm going to start with the green. So this is these are Derwent, Rexall Cumberland Derwent watercolour pencils, and I have ended up using these quite a lot. I'm just going to colour this in. It's just, you know, when the leaves are just breaking out. I've just got this happening on my apple tree now in the garden, and they're just beginning to, you know, they're no longer just sticks and branches. They're just getting that first tiny little flush of very green foliage coming through. And I think, you know, it really does give you hope at this time of year. If you've been feeling a bit rubbish because it's been winter and the sun hasn't been there, and perhaps you've just had lots of grey days. And of course, what with things going on in the world as they are, yeah, it's been tough. And I think it's been our lockdown. So we had our initial lockdown in, well, this time last year actually. So at the end of March through to, I think, the beginning of June, things started opening up again. So we had about 3 months of not a lot happening and staying in and getting used to having to queue at supermarkets outside or do click and collect. Not being able to go to places because the libraries were shut, the schools were shut, you know, and there's a lot of homeschooling going on and stuff like that. My son, who was then in his first year of A-levels, had to do most of his stuff at home. But the thing with the first lockdown was, A, it was a new thing, so people were trying to get used to it, but B, it was the summer. We had a lovely April, May and June. It was beautiful weather, so people just kind of hung out in their gardens, or if they were allowed to, went to the beach, and it was nice. And then we had another lockdown, which was frankly feeble and too little, too late, and that started in November and went through to the beginning of December, and that didn't really do anything to the infection rates, because, as I say, it just happened too late. It should have been early October probably. And then after Christmas, there was the announcement that we were going to go back into lockdown at the beginning of January. And we've literally just this week, we're now allowed to see 6 other people outdoors, or 5 other people outdoors rather, 6 people in total. Or you can have 2 families together now, that's nice to be able to see, you know, grandparents or your parents or your family. But this time, I think this time has been really different, because we've been through the winter, and for me anyway, January and February are probably my least favourite months of the year. December's not too bad because you've got Christmas and lots of lights, you know, and lots of festivities. But January and February are cold, wet, and just not very warm. So I think this time around people have found it really, really difficult. And I can completely understand why. So the fact that this weekend people are now allowed to have someone over in their back garden, or you know, you could previously you could go out for a walk with one other person, but now you can go out for a walk with a few other people, because they're beginning to talk about how the infection rate it's really negated by being outdoors and getting fresh air. So wherever you are in the world, I really hope that you're well, and that your family are well and doing okay, and that you're managing to survive, because a lot of people are finding their businesses going you know, very slowly. It depends what you're doing, really, doesn't it? If you're a lot of businesses have found that it's been busier because they've been able to provide the things that people need at home. But some businesses have found it such a struggle, and my heart goes out to you, because I am a self-employed person. I have a business doing this, so I do understand how it feels to be scared and worried about the future. And equally, if you're somebody who works for somebody else and you're worried, you know, will there be a job to go back to? Then, I mean, each country is doing things differently. and coping with things differently. But you know, generally speaking, it hasn't been much fun, has it? This is a rock, so I'm just going to do him grey. And I think I'll leave a little bit of snow on top because, like I said before, there's a bit of snow down here. So let's I'm going to sort of do grey and brown across the bottom here, and this will make a bit more sense when I get the watercolours going. So tell me, how are you guys doing? What have you been up to since last we were together? It'd be nice to hear how you all are. Hello, Dognormus. Is that right? Did I say that right? Hello. Thanks for saying hi. So I'm just going to go. I think we're going to have a little bit of snow across. Sorry, you couldn't see that, could you? This is the trouble with having my phone. I really need to get myself sorted out with that lead. So this is going to be the snow, this bit here, and this bit is going to be ground, and then I'm going to probably do a bit more snow up here. So I'm just going to take it up to just past his nose here, and he's kind of sniffing the air because, hurrah, spring is here, he's saying. So I've had a look at, done a little bit of research to find out about brown bears because, as you saw before, my knowledge of brown bears really is mainly of the fluffy sort, fluffy and friendly. So what I discovered was that the majority of brown bears live in Alaska, Canada, and Russia. But we also do have some brown bears in Europe, and that's because they wander over from Russia. And there are some in Norway, Finland, Sweden, and Estonia. So I think that's quite interesting. We don't have any, as far as I'm aware, on the Isle of Wight where I live. Although you never know. You never know what might pop up. But apparently they can run as fast as a horse, should they wish to. If they're running after you or after something, then they can get up to speeds of 31 miles an hour, which is a darn sight faster than I can run, let me tell you. So if I was being chased down by a brown bear, then the thing to do is to drop to the floor and play dead. Now, it depends what kind of bear. What you need to do is, first of all, make sure you know which kind of bear is chasing you. If it's a brown bear or a grizzly bear, then you need to drop to the floor and play dead. You need to spread your legs wide so that they can't turn you over very easily. And lie on your stomach and put your hands behind your head. And then when they have decided that you're not very interesting and wandered off, you wait till they go away, and then you can get up and go about your business again. However, if it's a black bear, then don't play dead. You need to either run to the nearest place that you can hide, like a car or something you can get in and get away from it, or you need to fight it off with anything that you've got, like a stick or, stone. So really the lesson there is, make sure you know what colour bear you're being attacked by before you make your move. And obviously, that's very important. I think, and it also says in the instructions of what to do if you're attacked by a bear, is stay calm. Yeah, stay calm. There's a big bear coming for you with massive teeth, but you just gotta stay calm. I think if it was me, I think staying calm would not perhaps be, it might not be an option. I guess it's one of those things. It's a bit like if you fall into the sea when it's really cold. Will you remember to float on your back to get your breath and get your bearings before you try and rescue yourself? Or will you just flail about like a floppy jellyfish and do yourself mischief? It's one of those things, isn't it, really? It's what you remember in the moment. So I don't know if any of you guys have ever come across a brown bear in the wild. I'd love to know if you have. Or any other kind of scary creature. I think moose are supposed to be quite scary, aren't they? Because they're very big. I've never seen a moose in real life either. I did, however, yesterday, I think I saw a water vole, which are like, you know, I don't know if you've ever seen Wind in the Willows. Ratty from that is a water vole, and they're actually very, they have been very endangered in the UK. So I'm just doing these little stripes of white, which show that it's a silver birch, because they have this beautiful peeling bark. Have a look at the comments. So, Dognormous, yeah, I've just been working a lot. I'm very fortunate that with lockdown there was a puppy boom, so I have a lot of work. Ah, I see. Yes, yes. There's been a lot of talk about pets, and I think that's one thing, is that we've learned what's important in our lives, and that is being able to get some fresh air and having our friends and family, and and that includes our pets as well. And if you didn't have a pet before, you may well have one now, because we've had our two dogs Wally is 12 and a half and Maisie is 10 this month. So we've been together as a family for some years, and they've definitely been such a help, not only in lockdown, but also because we have autism in my family. So my son and my husband are both autistic, and the dog, well, particularly Wally, for them has been amazing. He's such a little Burke, Wally. He and I kind of have slightly tempestuous relationships sometimes. He doesn't see me really as one of the alphas. So he does a lot of whining and asking for food and being a bit naughty. But with the guys, he's amazing, and they just love him. They love him to bits, and I think it's definitely been the best decision for us when we decided to get Wally. And then Maisie just came along a couple of years later. She sort of fell into our family, and she's been my little soulmate. So you might sometimes see her in my videos or sometimes in my work. And she's my little buddy. And she's been a great solace to me, especially when I've been poorly. And let's see, Mangus Demonitis, trying to teach myself to roller skate. Oh wow, yeah, definitely. I used to roller skate when I was a kid, and then I tried again when I was in my 20s, and I somehow totally lost the knack. So yeah, roller skating is really good fun. Okay, now what colour? I think we're going to do our, well, the clue is in the title, Jules. Brown bear, brown colour. I'm just going to give him a little bit of sort of shadow underneath over here, because the majority of him I'm going to colour with my watercolour paint. So this is just kind of giving him a little bit of tonal definition, I guess. So if I was doing this and I didn't really have a time constraint on me, then I would probably do it all in watercolour. but I'd be able to dry the layers individually as I was doing them. I'd either leave them to dry, or sometimes I just blow dry them with a hairdryer at a bit of a distance, so it doesn't either buckle the paper or move things around too much, move the pigment around too much, because you don't really want that to happen. But I think this is probably the best way to do it today, so that we're not here for 4 hours doing this. I'm sure you get bored by then. I'm going to use a slightly lighter one as well. This is a lot lighter actually, just to blend it a little bit upwards. So apparently the other thing I've discovered about brown bears is when they're active in the summer months and spring, summer and autumn months, they can forage for food for up to 16 hours a day. I mean, that sounds like my teenage son. In fact, it sounds like both my sons. One of the older one's now 21, yeah, they definitely do the foraging, which you know, I hadn't really. Sometimes I don't really account for, and then I go to the fridge and it's just like I see a poorly soul just looking in there, lost. Where's the food? I need food. So back to the shops, buy more food. This little guy's a robin. So I don't know what your robins are like in the US. This little robin redbreast that we get here may not look like this in the rest of the world. In fact, I have a fairly good feeling that they don't. But oh well, c'est la vie. Such is life. It's my artistic license. If you didn't catch my video that came out yesterday, by the way, it was about how to put text on a page. If you're writing your children's book, what you need to think about when you are planning that stage, where your text is going to go. And what did I do the week before that? That's a good question. I can't remember. I'm just going to pick up my FB pen again, and I'm going to do the branches over here. Hopefully this will have dried properly by the time I get the old paint out, which is why I'm doing it now. Like this, and I'm just keeping to the shape that I made with the colour. I don't know, this is all, you know, when you're making art, I find that the thing that I do first is always the best one. So I might do something and think, oh, do you know what, I'd like to do that a bit different, and then do it again and think, no, that didn't work, so I'll try it again. Nope, that didn't work either. And I just go back to the one that I did in the first place. Oh, do you guys ever find that? So the point I was going to make was, let's hope that this pen dries enough so that it doesn't bleed or smudge or do anything like that when I actually come to put some watercolour on it. But who knows, it might. And then next I'm going to do the leaves up here. Now, how did I do them on the drawing? Okay, so I think I'm just going to do very similar to the ones I've done down on the bush down there. And I've developed a little bit of a wiggle in my drawing, and I think this is all to do with my feeling poorly. So I've had the shakes a little bit, which started about 6 weeks ago and haven't really gone. I don't know. I'm going to be talking about Crohn's disease, which is the condition I've got. Actually, not next week, the week after. And I don't know whether it's something to do with that or something else. But anyway, I quite like it. I think it gives the lines an interesting bit of energy, because you can see, it is energy coming out of you, isn't it? When you're a bit shaky or yeah, I don't know how to explain it really, but I'm not bothered by it. I quite like it. I think it's quite an energetic way to draw. And that's in fact, one thing that I tend to do when I'm painting is I hold my brush quite far down the handle, because I like that that sense of feeling something else, that it's not just you painting, in a very controlled way. There's something else going on. Maybe your heart beating, or the breaths you're taking, or anything, how much caffeine you've had, any of those things can have an impact and an influence on the marks that you make on the paper. And that's all about your story, and I like that. I think that's really interesting. So yeah, I don't mind the fact that I've got a bit shaky in the last few weeks, and it might go away again. I don't know. Maybe I'll miss it. Who knows? Okay, last one. When I was at university, I studied Japanese ink painting as my thesis. When you do a degree in the UK, you have to do a thesis, which is, I think, something like between 10 and 15,000 words on a subject, and you have to pick the subject and then you submit it as part of your degree. And the thing that I did mine on, I was very interested at the time, and still am actually, in Buddhism and Zen Buddhism. So I did mine on Japanese ink painting and how it differed from Chinese ink painting. And one of the things that I learned with that was that Japanese ink painters do hold their brush quite far down, so that they've got that energy, that sort of chi running down through their bodies, out through their fingers, and then ends up amplified at the end of their brush or their pencil. Okay, now I'm just going to do a little bit around his cave, and I might put a little bit of sky in, and then I think we're ready for cracking out the watercolour. So I'm just wondering what colour. I think I'm going to use black, but very lightly, and then just because I want it to look different from the grey that's on the ground, the grey brown, and then I'll use a bit more colour when I get to the paints. Oh, sorry, I've just seen. Are you the people next door are really loud? Yeah, sorry. I think there might be a few beers happening. So yeah, they're having a lot of fun and some interesting. I don't know. No, I just think I'm just really happy to hear people enjoying themselves, after so long. So long as it's not still going on at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm fine with it. If you know what I mean. Right, that'll do for the moment. A little bit of, I think, well, should we have blue sky? Come on, let's have some blue sky. So just a little bit. This is quite a pale blue. So I'm thinking, in fact, today, the weather forecast for today here was it was going to be freezing cold and very gloomy. And in actual fact, it's blue sky outside. So I'm a happy bunny. That I'm channeling it. I'm channeling the blue sky onto my piece of paper. And we went out and earlier today and saw my husband's family and his mum and brother and my 2 nephews and sister-in-law. So that was really nice, and sat in the garden. And I think, other than seeing them when they've dropped off some shopping, or yeah, it was pretty much the first person that I've seen, the first people that I've seen since before Christmas, other than in the supermarket. So it's been good. Good day today. And the other video that I'm making this week, so I usually try and make two videos. I sort of do every other week. I do 2 videos at the beginning of the week and make sure they're up, loaded up and good to go for Friday and then the following Friday. So this week I'm going to be making a video on drawing sea creatures, particularly if you are if you're making a book, perhaps, and you're making a book about the sea, then you might want something like this. And I have had it requested, so that's one of the things I said I'd definitely do. And then the other one that I'm going to talk about is how I deal with having Crohn's disease, which is one of the inflammatory bowel diseases, and work at the same time. And I've had it for over 20 years now, so I've got some pretty good self-help tips, not necessarily in terms of treatment and stuff, not sort of medicinally, but more how the heck do you cope, and particularly if you are somebody that works for yourself, or you have a job that needs to be done. How do you cope? So that should be I think that'll be quite interesting. Well, it'll be interesting for me to make it, but hopefully it'll be interesting for people to watch it, to understand a bit more about what it is, without any of the gory details. And also, if you know somebody who has it, then it'll give you a bit more of an insight as to what they go through. Okay, now I have here 2 brushes. I've got a thin one, which I'm probably not going to use, and my thicker one, which is a size 8. And if I can just get that in the right place, if I leave that there, then you should be able to see everything that I'm doing. I've got my bit of kitchen paper and trusty old watercolour paints that I'll try and keep out of the way as much as possible. There we go. And I've got a pot of water as well. So I think what I'll do first is the sky, just because it's probably going to be the lightest area, and I'm just going to mix up. It's a sort of a royal blue, but I'm going to make it really watery, because this pencil will also start to blend, because it's water soluble. And this is the moment where we're going to see whether Sakura Pigma brush pens really are waterproof. Looking good. Looking good. That would have been a bit of a disaster, wouldn't it, after all And it has happened to me before with other pens that I've thought, yeah, these are definitely waterproof. Or I've looked it up online, thought, yeah, these are, it says these are waterproof. And then I've used it and it's been, oh man, it's not that waterproof. But hopefully this is okay so far. Oh, okay. Dognormus, the robins are loud. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, they're really loud here as well, actually. This time of year they're defending their territory. That's why they are shouting and screaming so loudly. Do you know, you've probably, if you've watched my channel for any time, you probably know that I really like birds. I'm just a tiny bit obsessed with them. And I bought myself, and I've had given to me as presents, some bird houses. I've got 2 tit boxes and 2 robin boxes, and I've put them up in the relevant places where they should like it. And have they come? No, they have not. They have very definitely turned their noses up at my efforts of making a lovely home for them. So I think that's just rude, frankly, having spent the money on them. But I live in hope. You never know. One day, we have had some great tits and some blue tits looking in one of the tit boxes, and they go in, they have a look round, and they come back out again, and then they go and find somewhere else, which is a bit of a shame. So come back to us. But my favourite birds of all are the long-tailed tits, because they are so adorable. They're so cute. They're like little bundles of fluff with a long tail stuck on the bums. And they have got such an amazing sort of family ethic. They all stick together, and they get together of an evening and they roost together. And the one that has the sort of like top dog is the one that goes in the middle. And the ones who have the least authority in the group, they have to sort of snuggle and get cold on the edges. It's very cute. Okay, it seems to be going quite well at the moment. So what I will do is I'm going to put a little bit of blue on the snow area, which is down the bottom and up the top here, just to show, and I know I've said this a lot before if you've seen any of my videos where I've used the white of the paper to make a point about something, is that you want to show a little bit of tone or shadow, just because otherwise it might just look like, oh, that I've forgotten to do anything. I just forgot to do that bit. But you don't have to. If you think it works just by leaving it white, then leave it white. But I think I will put a little bit. In fact, I'll do that now, whilst I'm waiting for some of that to dry, because I can't do much to our little bear fella until that's dried a little bit. So I'm going to sort of, with this, holding the pencil kind of quite far down and on the edge, just going to give it like a little bit of almost shadow where you might expect perhaps a bit of form to the snow. So I've been watching it in my moments of feeling pretty yucky. I've been watching this guy who's Canadian called Matthew Posa, P-O-S-A, I think his name. I think that's how you pronounce it. Who goes out camping with his dog, and it's just perfect for me at the moment. It's just lots of white snow, camping, making like a little shelter, and then his rather lovely dog that's like Lassie, and you know, he just makes himself some food and then throws his stick for his dog. I just really like the whole kind of bushcraft thing, and also he's quite funny as well, which helps. So I don't know if any of you guys know of him, but if you just need a bit of a chill out, it's worth watching. And his videos are quite long. I mean, you know, actually quite surprisingly long. Some of them are like 3 hours, but you don't have to watch the whole thing. You can skip. I skip forwards a bit. If I can see he's chopping wood for half an hour, then I skip forwards. But it's just really nice to watch someone else having a nice time, having fun. Okay, so this is just now water, and I'm going to just dab it a little bit so that it's not really, really wet, and then go over what I've just done, just to soften it a bit. Perhaps not everywhere, because it's nice to see those marks. Again, the same up here, but this, because this is closer, this is going to be a little bit more detailed maybe. So I can blend this a little bit more. Okay, and then I think probably I'm going to tackle those trees as well. See what happens. Yeah, that's. I think I might invest in some more colours actually, because I have got quite a lot of. I've got quite a lot of these pencils, because I had my own ones, and then when my dad passed away, because he was an artist as well, he had loads of really nice materials, and I've inherited all of his ones as well, but I've got a bit of a sort of deficit of grey. So I've got two greys that are really similar. I've got lots of browns and greens, and not very much, and also quite a few yellows, but not a huge range of reds, which that would be quite useful. So I might go, when the art shops reopen, I might go and investigate that. Particularly because it's I think also it's nice to support your local businesses after this incredibly difficult year that they've had. So I'm going to be hot-footing it when the shops open in April, down to the street that has both the art shop in and the camera shop, so I can go and speak to a human being about which lead I need to connect my camera to my Mac without going insane about it, because I can't tell you the amount of things I've thought, yeah, that's definitely the right lead, because I've looked it up, I've done the research, it's that camera, it's that thing it needs to go in, and then I get it and it doesn't work. So I bought a video capture card, I bought a lead for it, I bought a different lead for it. Honestly, drive yourself mad. So that, I'm not going to go all over with that, because I want it to have a bit of texture. I don't know if you can see that. I think that looks quite cool. And then I'm just wondering what will happen if I. Yeah, actually, it does saturate that colour quite a bit on the orange when I give it a little bit of water, but I'm not going to go everywhere on it, because I don't want to run the risk of it bleeding, that black pen. And I also, what I might do is, when it's dried, I might actually add a little bit of a different colour with the pencils. Well, I might do it now. Oh, should we push the boat out? Let's do it. Right, where's my pencil gone? Let's use this one. Right, this is a different orange, but because it's already wet, I'm probably going to get a slightly deeper colour anyway, because it's actually just wetting the end of the pencil. I quite like that. Yeah, that's done the trick. Good. I think that looks a bit better. Okay, so really the last thing to do is our little chum the bear. So I'm going to just mix up a bit. I might make that background a bit darker as well, and I don't want to mess it up. But I'm going to do the bear first. So I'm just going to mix up a little bit of brown. Let's see which brown am I going to use. That's quite a reddy brown. Should it be reddy brown? How dark brown are brown bears? Anyone know? Can you tell me in the chat, how do you think it's dark brown or mid brown? I'll mix up a couple of colours and then wait for somebody to let me know. Medium, thank you, Sharon. Right, medium brown. In which case, I'm going to do a little bit of a mixture of the reddy brown and the dark brown, and let's see what happens. And also, he can have a little bit of that kind of highlight across the back, across his back, because that's where the light's coming from. So let's just kind of smudge that in a little bit. And if you've got too much paint on your brush, just use the kitchen paper to dab it off. And then I might put, yeah, there's a sort of chocolatey colour as well. Perhaps I'll just give him a little bit of that too. Perhaps around his muzzle, around his chops. Okay, I think that's looking alright. And then I might use some of that dark, which is, I think this is called Van Dyke brown, this one, just kind of underneath, just to show where his legs and belly are. So I get a lot of my facts from a podcast that I listen to a lot, I mean a ridiculous amount, and it's called No Such Thing as a Fish. If you ever watched a programme called QI, used to have Stephen Fry on it, now has Sandy Toksvig on it. It's the people that do the research have this podcast called No Such Thing as a Fish. And I listen to that a lot. And one of the facts that I discovered about bears, and I'm not sure whether it's brown bears, grizzly bears or black bears, but apparently before they go to sleep they eat a lot of very fibrous material that bungs their bottoms up, so that nothing, whilst they're asleep, nothing goes in there and makes a nuisance of itself. And so the first thing they do when they come out like this, when they emerge, is they have to do a massive roughage poo, and sometimes it can be up to 1 metre long. Can you imagine? That must feel good after that length of time. Okay, so let's do a little robin. Oh, I tell you what, our little robin does need a darker beak, because he's just got a white beak. That's no good. There you go, that's better. And then just with a little bit of water, and 2 more things I'm going to do. One is just give this a little bit of saturation. And then in a minute I'm going to come and have a look at your comments as well. I need a spare pair of eyes to see what people are writing. And I think I am just going to darken up a little bit round behind, in sort of inside that cave area, just to show that that's the den. Like that. Okay. I think I will just sign it. And then my intention is, at some point, is I'm going to put these on my website. And if you want it, or a copy of it, then it will be there on my website. You can have one. So I'm going to switch back to my webcam, and I might be able to show you a bit better because that's probably a better camera. Let's have a look. Webcam. There we go. Right. So let's see if I can show. Oh, it's really difficult to know because it's all back to front, but there you go. There is the picture. And in its full glory. And I'm going to leave that to dry because it's still a little bit wet in areas. But it's got some really nice marks on it actually. It's got some, this is the thing about using watercolour, is you, it's kind of about you as the artist doing things, because you are the conduit for it, but it's also the paper, the water, your brush, your paint, and it just kind of does stuff that you can't control or expect, and that's what I really like about watercolour, because you just get these marks that you couldn't possibly sort of envisage were going to happen. You couldn't plan it, and that's it. Just I quite like that sort of freedom that you get from using watercolour. And but if you're somebody who's kind of like, I really need it to be exactly like this, then perhaps watercolour isn't necessarily something that you're going to find easy. But I just like doing, like, let it get on with it. So it's almost like it's got its own life, and I quite like that. So let's have a quick look at the chat, see if I need to answer anything. Oh, good. I'm glad you're back, Sharon. Yes, right. Yes, Sharon says that if the bird was another colour, such as red, it would help contrast all the brown around. That is very true. Yeah, that's very true. I might actually just fiddle with that a little bit before I finish it completely, yeah, I think that might be true. But what I will do is I'll put I'll take a good photograph with my decent camera, and then I'll post it up as a post on YouTube and let you see what it looked like, you know, in its final glory, if you like. So what time are we up to? Goodness me, it's 5 o'clock. Thank you ever so much for being there this afternoon. It's really nice to have this community of people who turn up whenever I do something, and you know, and you're there. I feel like we kind of know each other, even though you might be a really long way away from where I am, or vice versa. And it's really nice to sort of have that going on between us. I hope it's been helpful to you. My mission is to help people to do any sort of drawing, or actually anything creative that you like doing, whether that's painting or sketching, or making things out of clay, or sewing things, you know, anything like that. I think is so good for you, because any kind of creative pursuit, I think, is great for your mental health, and it's great for your physical health as well, because sometimes, well, the two go in hand, don't they? Sometimes if you're feeling poorly, then your mental health suffers, and vice versa. For me, definitely these last few months, doing some sort of drawing, being able to do my videos every week, that has kept my mental health in a much better place than if I didn't have that to do. So thanks so much for joining me. Make sure you watch on Fridays, because I always upload on a Friday, usually about 7 o'clock in the evening here in the UK. So that's BST now, British Summertime. Woohoo! You know, hopefully I'll be able to bring you something that will be of use to you. Let me know as well in comments of any video, because I do read them all. If there's anything that you think, oh, I'd really like to know how to do that, or whether it's to do with drawing or publishing, because as you know, I self-publish my own children's books, and I've also been traditionally published now, so through a publisher. So got a foot in both camps. So if there's anything that you sort of think, oh, I'd really like to know how to do that, then do just ask. I do have some courses over on my website, which is julesmarrinerbooks.com. And I also have Patreon, so if you want to support me on that, it's $3 a month. And for that you can access any of my my courses that I put up, if you don't want to go via my website. So it's a bit of a cheaper way of doing it. Anyway, I'm going to say tatty bye for now, and go off and cook my starving, hungry children some sort of food before they fade away, because you know they only ate, what she says looking at her fake watch, 3 hours ago, maybe 2 hours ago. So you know they'll be feeling very faint by now. So I will see you next Friday for what did I say I was doing next Friday? Sharks and stuff. No, not sharks. It's going to be sea creatures. So I'll see you for sea creatures next Friday, and take care. Have an amazing week, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Nanu nanu.